I go hard in the paint. I go hard in the paint.
I'm ducked off where the loudest leader. Right next door to Cali where the work a lot cheaper. Take you back in the trap in the 86 Regal. With a pocket full of stones booming like it was legal.
What is happening, Suave? How you doing, man?
Man, I am doing good. It's been a long day at work, and I'm glad to be off.
Hell yeah. And we're glad for you to be joining us for episode 8 of season 3 of The Man Cave. And I'm one of your hosts, SPG.
And I'm your other host, Suave.
Damn right, man. And whatever you happen to hear or see here in The Man Cave,
It's going to stay right here in the Man Cave, baby. Y'all know what it is.
hell yeah, man. Well, hey, man, pick us up where we left off now. We're discussing, this is the Last of Us discussion for HBO. It's their new show that just came to the conclusion. We're looking at episode, what was it, 8?
Right. So we went back. I think it might have been even, we left off on episode 7.
Yep.
Because we was talking about the guy that had the whole congregation of people that was calling him father and they was eating people to survive. That's
They
what
was
they was
eating
doing.
people.
They was eating people to survive. Let's just go and throw it out there. I mean, there was eating other things too.
Yeah.
But when in their resort, their last resort of meat, it was human beings. Anybody that died or anybody they found along the way, they was eating it. You know,
Yeah, they were scavengers in like the worst term, scavenger. Like they'll even eat their dead.
Indeed.
Crazy. So Ellie at the very end of that episode, she brutally murders a man, or not murders him, but in self-defense and all that. But
bro, it was murder, bro.
Dude, it was brutal. Anyway, it was brutal. She got as the father, I forget his name, but as the father told her, you got violence in your heart.
I think his name David.
David. Okay. David says, I can see violence in your heart because I have it in mine. Anyway, she brutalized that dude. And, Joel strolled in like he was going to save her and everything, but she saved herself. But she was a little off. You know what I mean? She was a little off at that point. And,
it was more realistic to what would happen in real life. Like you get there, like you want to save someone and you aiming to go rescue them, but you're not making it in time. You're making all the effort, just not making it in time. And they, on their end, it's best for them to try to save themselves to meet in the middle. Because it's not always going to be a superhero story, a happily ever after story, where the hero comes in and save and everybody's happy and good. No, this wasn't that. Joe was trying to make it her way. But if he'd have continued on to make it there, by the time he got to her, man, she would have been raped for one.
Yep.
And probably in a cage somewhere. And they probably just gonna break her down until she are eaten.
Yeah.
They look like they're about to eat her.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot went on for the climax of that episode in particular was just huge. It was very huge. I mean, emotionally, I felt the passion in it. I felt how oh man. Dude, I can't wait. Look, go ahead. Okay, I want to say something, but I don't want to go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, the last thing he says to her pretty much in the episode is, "I got you, baby girl." And like that meant so much. And you can see into the next episode that not only is Joel worried about her well-being, like physically and stuff, and he's been transporting her and making sure she's okay, but now he cares about her mental state as well. Like he truly like adopted her in a way. He's caring about her mental state, her physically. She's sitting on the back of a truck or something, and he's talking to her, and she's kind of like, ignoring him a little bit or off in her own little world. And he picks up on that. Yeah. And he picks up on that and tries to bring her back, a little bit. And so you could clearly see in the first, 5 to 10 minutes of this episode that he clearly looks at Ellie as a daughter. And,
so let's back up just a little bit. Before we talk about that part, they first started off with introducing who Ellie's mom is.
Oh
Now,
yeah, I
you
can't
don't
believe I
know
skipped over that.
you don't know who the dad is, and I
No.
think that it was in a world like that where the world came to end. It's good to leave it to your imagination on what happened to her dad. Maybe even in the next season, if we get another, are we getting another season?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
In the
Yep.
next season, maybe they'll touch on that. But we don't know who the dad is to Ellie. You know, for all we know, he was a good man and then he got bit protecting the mom or something. We don't know, and probably changed. We have no idea. But we see that Ellie's mom and Ellie, their personality traits are kind of on the same wave
Yeah.
path, man. Like
True.
Ellie mom, she was giving birth and protecting herself at the same exact time
Yeah,
and
bro.
succeeded. I mean, she
Dude,
did get bit in the process, and we learned how
so
Ellie was became immune.
talk about the strength of her mom. Like when you first see her, she's pregnant out to here, bro. Like
Bro,
she
she
carrying
her water broke
uh,
going up some stairs running from one of these things,
yeah,
man.
bro. So like you're introduced to her with this big old belly, man, and she's running through the woods and they're making sound effects, but you don't see nothing. And you know how fast these clickers are and shit. Anyway, she makes
Mhm.
it into the damn house. And dude, it was just a brutal scene, man. It was
Hold up. Before you
very
say
well
that,
done. Very well
before you
done.
say anything else, let me interrupt and say this. It is still Women Appreciation Month. So, hey, shout out to Ellie's mom that gave birth. And I'm telling you, I have a large respect for women around the world that give birth to kids because one, if you're their situation that's worse than this situation, metaphorically speaking, of course, there's not monsters, but
Yeah.
there's something equally like your water break at home or at work, and then you're in the car, you have to drive yourself to the hospital. So kudos, man. And I mean that to the bottom of my heart because I don't know what pregnancy feel like, but just watching movies and watching kids being born and my kids and stuff like that, that is like extreme on a whole nother level. So kudos to you women out there, man. And I don't know about anybody else, but I have a very high respect for you. Very high respect. You
Yeah,
know.
man. Now, that scene was brutal, but you make a good point, man. It does happen in real life too. Like
Mhm.
in Vietnam, women will be working the rice paddies and give birth and swaddle them, put them up in there, and go back to work. Like
Hey,
if
gotta
you,
do what you gotta do.
I can't
Gotta
believe that
do what
that
you
stuff
gotta do.
happens, but it does. But Jeff
If you
says,
want your baby to survive.
I am fat like a pregnant woman, Jeff says. And
uh,
Ray says, rumor is Ellie's father is a clicker.
nah, man, that's
He
not
said,
true.
nah.
That's not
Hey, I'll
true.
tell you this, though. She could be adopted by him, though. So, okay, so this pregnant lady, she makes her way into this house and she barricades herself in a room as you hear something come through a window and start running up the stairs and start beating on the door. She's
Mhm.
giving birth and she just barely does it. Matter of fact, she doesn't even
With
realize she's given birth yet. She's fighting the damn
exactly because
clicker.
she's fighting out. She has a knife in
Yes.
one hand, and then she have a other hand to the clicker's neck or chest, trying to prevent it from destroying her. And try at the same time giving birth, man. This is an amazing moment right now. You know, it'd
Yeah.
have
Oh,
been too
yeah.
much like right if she'd have survived that. That'd have been just too much like right. I don't think I'll be able to take it, man. If she'd have survived that after all of that,
Yeah.
man,
Now,
that'd have been too much for me.
here's something else. Now she's all alone. Now this place is like a safe house for the fireflies.
Mm-hmm.
Ellie's mom is a firefly. So anyway, the fireflies return. Or she looks down and she sees this baby and she cuts the umbilical cord. And because she looks down and sees her leg and she's been infected, so she cuts that umbilical cord really quick. But the infection has already like made its way to Ellie as well, but she don't know that. She doesn't understand what's happening. She just knows she wants to give this baby the best chance she's got. So she cuts the umbilical cord and then she sits there for hours with the knife to her throat, waiting for the fireflies to come back so she can safely hand the baby over. you know, and yes, absolutely, Nerds World. The actress that plays Ellie's mom is the same woman that did the voice in the game for Ellie herself, which is a really cool shout out and interesting thing they did. They did that a bunch through this series. But it's remarkable. The Fireflies show up, and what's the Firefly's name?
Start with an M, I think.
I forget, but
Madeline? No.
Maddie, or I don't know. But anyway, so this Firefly basically she's convinced to take the baby, and
it's Ellie's best friend, though.
Yeah,
we gotta
Ellie's
say
best
that.
friend within the Fireflies. Yeah.
Ellie's mom.
Ellie's mom's best friend within the Fireflies. She takes the baby, and then she's gonna leave her. And Marlene, thank you so much.
Marlene,
Nerds World.
I knew it started with an M.
Yeah, so Marlene, she's all, you know, she's gonna leave her there to turn, and she begs her not to. Now those two love each other, Marlene and Ellie's mom. I don't mean like in a romantic relationship or anything, but
they're best friends. Like, been knowing each other since kindergarten.
Correct. So
best friends.
It meant a lot when she killed her friend. And she wanted to give that baby the best shot she could.
Hold on, back up. Before she killed her friend, Ellie's mom asked her to make her a promise. You know, she asked Marlene to make her a promise that she would protect this baby, that she would give her proper care, that she would be the mother that she is not able to be right now. And she even raised the question of, hey, how long have you been knowing each other? And she answered, since kindergarten. She said, I need you to do this. I'm putting this burden on you. There's no debate on it. It has to be you. Can you promise me this? I need you to promise me this.
Yeah.
And Marlene promised. Now, this is very important when I say this.
Because it comes full circle.
Yeah, we're gonna definitely speak on this on Thursday, man. Okay, so don't talk about too much of that part. We're gonna talk. Just remember that right there, that information right there. Go ahead, proceed, SPG.
All right, man. So we see, so she shoots her and stuff, and then that's kind of the backstory of Ellie and how she was born and how she ended up dropped off at that federal area, and how she started her life. But so we cut back to Joel and Ellie, and Joel's really taking care of Ellie emotionally. Like, he cares about her now. He literally sees her as a daughter. And Joel is the type of man that has experienced so much loss, and he cut himself off from feeling anything, that now that he does, ain't nothing gonna take this surrogate daughter away from him. He's not gonna let anything happen to her.
He can't shake it, man. He can't shake the fact that he lost his daughter, and now he meets someone around his daughter's age that he has grown to like, and he can't shake it. He tried to prevent it multiple times throughout this story leading up to this, and he could not shake it. And that's the thing about human beings and love. And what makes us human is caring about others. That's what makes it. That's what divides us from being an animal, a beast, a wild beast, to being a human being. We actually care for others. So even though he started out like, hey, this is you're only luggage to us.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Your cargo.
Your cargo to us. And we're just using you to get what we need, and we separate. You're not gonna be anything to us after. Now, what I wanna raise the question of this. Two things that make y'all plunder out there. One, where in the hell was Ellie's mom running from? Like where was she coming from? How did she even get up in that situation? You know, so you guys can definitely leave comments on this video related to that question. And another thing, if Tess was still alive, do you think that Joel would have still looked at Ellie eventually as a daughter? Or do you think that Tess would have kept him like, hey, we just got our own lives, and we're gonna go our separate ways?
that is a very hard thing to determine, because if Joel was with Tess through the whole adventure, it might have went very differently. He might not have became close with Ellie, but Tess wasn't there. And maybe Tess wouldn't have survived some of the encounters. Maybe having Tess there, Joel wouldn't have survived some of the encounters. Like, it's real
something
hard
to speculate. It's something to speculate.
It is. It's real hard to say. But so Joel, he's trying to take care of her emotionally and everything else, and he breaks down and he kind of tells her something. They're walking along, and he tells her that, I think my daughter would have really cared for you. I think that she would have thought you were funny. I think you guys would have got along. You'd have been girlfriends, you know. And just saying that meant a lot coming from him. But so he breaks down and goes even further. He starts talking about the scar on his head and where it came from. And basically what he breaks down is that he tried to kill himself. And he flinched when he pulled the trigger, and he gave himself a flesh wound rather than blowing his head off. And at this
point, I wonder how is that possible? Because
I don't know.
All the times that people try to like do that act, they never
They're not going to miss. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Even if they miss, they still got to hit something to make them into a vegetable, man.
Yeah. But what's interesting though is after he tells that story that he's glad he survived, and she says, "Me too," and he's basically living for her now in a way. And they played that scene very beautifully and very subtly of how much of a connection that they have made now over this journey and where they're at. And there's some beautiful moments. There's some dark moments. The show has been fantastic overall, man. When they were heading up, the two areas that we're about to talk about from the show is identical to what was in the game. Like, identical. I watched Rudig's play through this section of the game, and it looked identical to what the show was.
Shout out to Rudig's.
Yeah. So they climb up into this building, and they end up coming across Ellie goes up to get a ladder for Joel, and she takes off and leaves him. And Joel hurries up because he's worried of losing her, so he gets up top, and there's a damn giraffe up there. And that softens them up some more, you know, and they start talking about the future, and Joel looks at her and he's like, we can end this. We can just stop. We can just go back and live our life. You know, we don't have to continue on and maybe get hurt or, you know, whatever else. You know, we've done enough. We can turn around. And Ellie says something that's pretty poignant, which is, you know, it's got to be worth something. The little boy I tried to save and couldn't, his death, when you see the backflash of what Ellie went through, how she first got infected, she didn't want that person's death to go, you know, to waste. Tessa's death to go to waste. Like, she wants all this to mean something and to be for something, and they're well on their way for that. And like I said, you know, they come down and they're looking at all the military tents and the evacuation center or whatever there that's all destroyed, and they really have a heart-to-heart moment. And directly after this, they get.
Hold on, let me ask another question. I want y'all to really be in tune on these last two videos of the season finale that we're going over. I want another question. If the scene where Ellie, the roles are reversed, where Ellie had to provide for Joel to prevent him from dying, if that moment would have never happened, would Joel have a close relationship with Ellie then?
I think
because
so.
all
I think they still would
come into play.
Maybe not. Maybe not as close.
Maybe not as soon either.
Yeah, right. Or as soon. Yeah. But I still think they would have ended up pretty close. Joel's a heartbreaking character. Like, he's damaged goods. Like, you know what I mean? He didn't even want anything to do with Ellie, which is fascinating. And now he can't live without her.
That man, let me tell you, his journey started out with him trying to just get a battery, and some resources, and just move on to the next safe zone. Yep. That's all that he wanted to do. He didn't have a plan on anything else. He'd been doing this, moving from safe zone to safe zone, trading resources. and getting by like that, sitting here, make a few money, then I'm making my escape and I'm moving on. Just him and Tess. Now they didn't give too much of what him and Tess was doing prior to getting into the last safe zone that we see Joel and Tess in. I would love to see that in season 2. I would really love to see that in season 2 of what they do with that. But we know that Joel's been through a lot. We know that he's been through a lot. You know what I'm saying? We could see it on his face. He don't want to show any emotions. He barely showed any emotions to Tess. But we know that he loved Tess. He was in love with her. We know this for a fact. And it hurt his heart dearly when she passed. You know what I'm saying? He didn't want that to happen. You can't live in this world and not have a companion. It'll definitely be a lonely life for you. And Joe was trying to avoid that. Go on, man. We about to wrap up. Go ahead.
Yeah, we are. This is where we're gonna wrap it up. So basically, what ends up happening next is they end up walking towards an underpass and they get ready to go up under it. And the interesting thing is they get ambushed by the Fireflies and brutal. They throw in a smoke bomb. They swoop in and grab up Ellie, and then Joel, he gets a butt of a rifle to the back of the head, or it was a boot. I forget. Was he kicked? Or was it the rifle? I forget.
No, it was definitely the rifle because he was bleeding in his head. Okay, definitely the rifle.
So they get captured by the Fireflies that they've actually been looking for, and we're gonna end it there for the day, man. Suave, I've loved this series, and I can't wait to finish it off, man. But what do you think, dude? Like Nerds World here says, part 2 is going to be like 3 seasons from what the showrunners are saying. Nice. Which would be awesome. Yeah, man, I've just had a great experience with this show. Yeah, man, I can't wait to finish this out on your channel that's coming up here on Thursday, bro. Why don't you tell everybody about it, where they can find us next?
Guys, you can catch the next episode of Man Cave, episode 9 of Man Cave, on the Climax channel, YouTube channel. You see it behind me. That's THE space Climax spelled with a K, KLIMAX. Not to be confused with the Killmax.
With the Killmax.
I know that guy is somewhere out there. I don't know who he is.
He was popular for a little while.
He was popular.
That's right.
But not to be confused with the Killmax. And this, man, I have to say, SPG, man, I never thought that I would have so much fun creating this show with you and this journey that we've been on, man. And it's been wonderful, man. This is really a hobby for the both of us, and we developed a man cave, man, for anybody to come visit.
That's right.
Just everything that happened in the man cave, y'all better keep it in the man cave.
That's right. It's got to stay right here. But thank all of you, man, for tuning in to episode 8 of season 3 of the Man Cave, and we're gonna see you on Swap's channel on the next one. Peace.
Peace.
I go hard in the paint. I go hard in the paint.
I'm ducked off where the loud is legal. Right next door to Cali where the work a lot cheaper. Take you back in the trap in the 86 Regal. With a pocket full of stones booming like a